Hello, hi everybody, Paul here at the WarHQ.co.uk, and as you can see I have a nice little Flak 88, well 37 it is, but the 88mm in my hands. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to get rid of the wrapper because it is causing a lot of reflection back. There we go, so now it's wrapperless, we can get a wee bit better look at the box. So a nice little bit of art. It's from a Italiari even, but boxed up for Warlord. We're going to get the little cards we're getting used to with the armoured models from Bolt Action. Looks like they're going to put them in the artillery ones now. We've got a sheet of decals there. It tells us it contains 1/56 scale 8.8 Flak 37 dual purpose AAT gun. It's plastic model, but it has 7 metal crew and all the other things that come in it. And if we turn it on to the other side, we get the usual good quality art, just showing you made up with the metal miniatures here, 7, 6 crew and a 7th crew tucked in behind the gun shield, and it gives us a wee bit of the history as usual. So let's open it up and see what they get. Just putting the knife out the road. So we'll open up the box and let's see what we get inside. So my big hairy arms there, we don't want to see them. But pulling it out, this is what you get in the box. So first of all, on the top here is a little bit of information about Warlord games. We don't need that because we know all about Warlord. Here we have the assembly instructions, and we'll just flip through them quietly. And the painting and assembly guide gives you the picture of the decals and some instructions how to put them on. Here we've got the construction diagrams, and this is the first look for me, so they all look to be fairly straightforward and simple. And then second page here, oh, can you see at the top there? There we go. Second page, just showing you get more details of the gun. And then up at the top on the other side, putting together the turntable, and that's the thing to keep the gun steady while they're towing. And then on the back here we've got the rest of the assembly up into the main gun. And then we've got the painting guide for the crew and for the gun, showing you the colours they're suggesting that they used. And on the back, same idea, a painting guide for the gun and even the shells. That's pretty straightforward. So the first thing I'm noticing is we don't, with this model, get the wheels to put it on the gun carriage. Possible thing. So we've got 2 sprues in a kit here. Don't know if you can see them in there, encased in plastic. We've also got the gun crew here. It's the metal gun crew. Looks to be all one piece, but we'll check them out in a minute. We also have a little bag here with the bits and pieces. This bag I like. Warlord have started putting the decals in the bag for a wee bit of protection, and I like that. So in here we can see that Morella has packed this one for us. So we'll get rid of that, but here we have the decal sheet with the rings to go round to show the various kills, and the uniform markings for the troops up here, and 1 or 2 other little kill markings, etc. And then we have the stat card. It gives you the stats, ranges, etc., that type of thing, and special rules, I think. And then on the other side it gives you the points here that you can take it at, and a nice little plus. I loved the idea of these stat cards at first. Not so keen on it now, but it's a nice little plus. So we'll put that all back. We've seen that. So then we come to the figures. Let's open up the figures. Usual clam pack with the bases for the figures on the back here. And then we've got the figures in here. We'll have a look at them. These are all one-piece figures. We've got we'll look at them singly. So we've got the guy that's sitting down. He's just behind the gun shield, presumably an aimer of some sort. And then we've got a guy here who's helping to cart shells, sleeves rolled up. Very nice, all one part, nice and easy to put together. Notice the bases on these ones aren't terribly thick, and I quite like that. I usually end up spending a lot of time rubbing them off. Another guy humping the shells towards the gun, fully equipped with his gas mask and his bread pack, etc. And yet another guy carting ammo about. Need a lot of ammo for these guns. They're going to kill a lot of stuff on the park. And a fifth guy who is carting shells about. This time he's in a field cap. Again, sleeves rolled up. It's hard work, hot work, humping those shells. And then we have a rangefinder. You'll have seen these in many pictures, I'm sure. It's not so hot work for him. He's got his sleeves down, but looking good. He's got his ammo packs and equipment patches there. And then the last guy is presumably going to be the gun commander with his binoculars there. But he's finding it hard work with those binoculars. His sleeves are rolled up. So I'm really liking these minis on first look. They look to be excellent minis. So that is the crew. So we get 8 of them. Is it 8? Sorry, 7 of them altogether. 6 standing, 1 sitting, and they all go back in the clam pack. And then let's have a look at the sprues. Let's delve into the sprues. Give that a slip down there. Let's carefully open up the bag. And here come the sprues. So first impressions is this is actually rather than the grey plastic, I don't know if you can pick it up well, but it's a field grey plastic, so it's a bluey grey, quite dark. And looking at it, there's not a huge amount of parts on here. I'm guessing there's about 36 parts. The main gun looks to be fairly straightforward. It looks like it's going to be a simple kit to put together. Let's let you have a look at this. This gives you sort of basically one half of the gun, the barrel. We've got the gun shield, some of the elevating equipment for either side. That will be the ring which holds the barrel in place when they're transporting. That will be a couple of the side legs for the turntable. More bits of the gun here. And odds and sods. You can see it. We'll give you a brief look at the back, but not too much detail on here because all the details on the other side of this sprue. Hopefully you can see it all there. And then we've got a second sprue, very similar to the first. The sprues themselves are not particularly exciting to look at. Suffice it to say, it's very highly detailed kit and ingeniously thought and put together. Makes me wonder why they didn't before. I think we're going to be selling quite a few of these because these things can do a lot of damage on a table. And I think that's basically about it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go away and build this one up. You can see the finished kit and we'll give you an idea of what I think about making it. And so here we've got the 88mm Flak gun built. The instructions were pretty good and it looked as though it was going to be a simple model, but there were a couple of fiddly bits. The main fiddly bit was this bit down here, in which you don't use glue on these struts in at the side, and they slip into these what are supposed to be pneumatic hydraulic system, and there was no glue used on that. And there is another part up here, you don't use glue to slip these in here, but it was fiddly to get all this to work. And then the actual difficult bit was up on here, was getting these sides on while this lot is all a little unsteady because you've not glued it, if you like. The next fiddliest bit was the actual putting these supports for the gun shield on. I think you could probably get away without putting them on, but it's not a difficult part. It just took me about 5 minutes to get everything lined up the way I wanted. but we ended up with all the parts used to make this. I did put one part on slow, the wrong way around, so just be careful. It was the plate for the bottom of the it was the plate on the rear of here. Those of you will see I've got that on the wrong way around, but anyway, it's 180 degrees off. But it kind of worked, so that's not so bad. And I decided not to glue the gun onto the base, so it could have movement if I can get it to sit back in. Now, one of the things, if you don't glue it in, you'll notice that when I put it on, the way it sits like that, it leans, it'll fall forward just because of centre of gravity. But because we've made it so it can rise, when it rises to more of an anti-aircraft position, I guess you would say, it actually sits fine. So just to point that out. And I think we've got a pretty sharp looking model in the end. I think it looks pretty good, looks pretty realistic. I quite like the sort of field grey plastic they've done it in. It's a nice touch. I don't think you're going to leave it like that, although you could do, I suppose. But a very nice model. It's very highly detailed. Isn't that difficult to put together. There's a lot of small bits, but to be honest, all those small bits are fairly straightforward. I like the wee model a lot. I'm not too keen on this, the way the swivel base fits in. It could be a little bit firmer. I think if I was doing it as for my army, I would maybe use green stuff or something on this wee button here to make it fit a bit more steadily. But lovely model. I like the troops that come with it. It'll be interesting to see how the Rubicon version turns out, but this one is very good, and it is up for sale now in our shop online at thewarhq.co.uk. And I'll probably put a little discount code in for you guys that are watching. You'll have seen it at the start of the show, and you'll pick it up again at the end of this video. Marks out of 10, I would give it a good 78 out of 10. Certainly worth the money, and a nice little addition to any German army. So take care, and mahalo from now from thewarhq.co.uk.